Good morning, everybody. We are on day 17 of Pray and Go, our 30-day challenge. Today's title is Write to Someone Again. On day 11, you wrote your first outwardly focused letter. You likely tried to be an encourager in the biblical model of Barnabas. It's time to write another letter. Let's take a moment to remember why you're writing these letters. First, it has been clear that you are to be an encourager. Everyone needs encouragement. Everyone needs a positive word from time to time. It is exciting that you are able to be the conduit of encouragement and joy to someone. Second, you are to be a source of comfort. Everyone hurts at times. Many people hurt a lot of the time. It is likely the person to whom you are writing it is in the midst of some struggle of some pain. Your note to them may come at God's perfect time. Several years ago, I found myself in a leadership crisis I never could have expected. Indeed, I heard things said about me I never would have imagined. Even though the negative words were not true, they still hurt. They hurt a lot. Then I received a text from Steve, a friend, but not necessarily someone I knew well. The text read, "None of us believes what they are saying about you, Tom. Your integrity and character will prevail. We know the real Tom Rainer." God's timing was perfect. The message was perfect. At that point, I knew I would see the other side with victory. It would be several weeks before the crisis passed, but it did pass. And though it still hurts at times to think about it, I really have moved on. The world has moved on. I am indeed on the other side of that painful time in my life. And I will never forget Steve's text. I will never forget how he was an incredible source of comfort. I'm glad I took the time later to let him know what his words meant to me. It was a brief message, it was a simple text, but it was life changing for me. Now it's your time to minister to someone. But there's a third reason why I'm asking you to write another letter, email, or text. The primary purpose of these 30 days is to get you focused beyond yourself. We all tend to become inwardly focused, but God's plan is for us to look, serve, and go beyond ourselves. Believe it or not, the simple act of writing to someone does just that. As you likely have noticed by now, the 30-day challenge doesn't have firmly fixed prescriptions for each day. There is flexibility in how you meet each day's challenge. There is flexibility so the Holy Spirit can lead us without a script getting in the way. The same rules apply today. Prayerfully decide the best way forward. By the way, I'm taking this challenge with you. Before starting this chapter, I prayed that God would bring some people to mind who could use some comfort and encouragement. I will note a few of those people whose names surfaced after I prayed. My cousin lost her husband to a heart attack over a year ago. She obviously still struggles. One of my closer friends had to admit his wife um, to long-term dementia care. He is so devoted to her, but she no longer recognizes him. A couple in my community group at church bought land for their dream home, but home prices have escalated so much and so rapidly they can no longer afford to build. My son, Art, is starting a new business this month. He left the security of a regular paycheck to follow his dream. Another close friend is waiting on tests for his son, who was in remission from a rare form of cancer. The test may show that the cancer has returned. The son has 3 young sons of his own. Just a moment ago, I looked at a social media feed and saw that a friend was struggling with depression. These 6 needs came to my mind right after I prayed. I immediately called one of these people and texted 2 more. There was no shortage of people who need comfort and encouragement. All 6 of the people I noted here are Christians, but there's no reason to limit ourselves if we want to become Great Commission Christians. Yesterday, I prayed for God to connect me with someone who is not a Christian. God could not have been more clear in his answer to my prayer. I ran into a lady in the parking lot where my office is located. She's been asking many spiritual questions. I pray that God will continue to use me to encourage her and witness to her. To whom will you write this time? What words can you offer to comfort someone or encourage someone? Though the assignment is brief, it could be incredibly powerful. If you need a few Christians to describe Jesus' teaching on the harvest, I bet the same would respond that Jesus told us to pray for the lost. Though it is certainly important to pray for those who are not Christians yet, that wasn't what Jesus focused on in addressing the harvest. Let's review his words from Matthew 9:36 through 38. When he saw the crowds, he had compassion on them because they were confused and helpless, like sheep without a shepherd. He said to his disciples, "The harvest is great, but the workers are few. So pray to the Lord who is in charge of the harvest and ask him to send more workers into his fields." Did you get that? There's no shortage of people to reach. Quite frankly, there's no shortage of people who would be open to a text, email, or conversation with you. We sometimes convince ourselves that people will resist our overtures on our part. That simply isn't true. It never has been. The harvest is great, and we need more workers in the field. You, my friend, are a worker in the field. Your prayers and emails, your texts, your invitations, and your conversations are all part of what a worker in the field does. Your obedience is making a difference. You are one of God's workers who are changing the world. My friend, whose son is facing a possible recurrence of cancer, answered my call immediately. We talked for several minutes. We prayed, and we both knew that we will always be there for each other. I texted another friend who has also responded immediately. His words spoke volumes about his need and his hurt. His text simply read, "Thanks, Tom. I needed this touch just now." The other friend I texted has not responded, but it's only been 30 minutes. I have no doubt we will connect with each other before the day is over. I offer these examples to encourage you to take action, to write to someone in your sphere of influence today. I want you to realize how great the potential harvest really is. I want you to see how God works powerfully and often quickly in response to our obedience. As you read, as sorry, are you ready to write your letter, email, or text? Pray a brief prayer for God's blessing as you send it. I am also praying for you. It's your time. Be a faithful worker in the harvest field. So my few names came pretty quickly. And I hope that they, first off, that God touches their hearts, but then also that they're open and that my words do encourage them. But I know that, Christ is a miracle worker. And so my hope is that regardless, that they reach out and they accept God's peace. Have a great day.